Welcome all. My name is Markos Moulitsas. I'm the founder of Daily Kos. Daily Kos is a community that gave life to this conference 19 years ago. And it's been an interesting 19 years. We've had a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but I don't think we've ever been at a moment as terrifying as where we are today. So I'm going to give a little, just sneak peek of what the title of this presentation is. It's Don't Panic. There's a lot of that going on right now. There's this debate over the last 3 weeks. And it's a real debate because we know what is at stake. Our rights, our democracy are on the line. Donald Trump is a real threat in what is, once again, the most important election in our lifetime. So it's fair to ask, is Joe Biden the person to get us there? So how did we get there? I hear a lot of people say, not just in spaces like this, but out in the real world. People say, we are such a big country, 340 million people. How did we end up with these two candidates? Right? You've asked that question. Of course you have. And the reason is, one, we had no say in what the Republicans did. They dug into the sewer, found the worst human possible, and that's who their guy is. So it was up to us to figure out who was the best candidate to counter that, to defeat him. And we had primaries in Iowa and New Hampshire, and we got to South Carolina. In South Carolina's Democratic electorate is heavily black. And they took stock of the situation. They were taking this job very, very seriously. They took stock of the situation. They looked at Donald Trump, who had just presided over one of the worst presidencies in history, and half the country was still behind them. And they looked at our field, and guys, we're Democrats, we're progressives, we want to love our candidates, we want to fight for people, we want to fall in love. And we had such great candidates. I loved Elizabeth Warren, she was mine. But we had Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg and Kamala Harris and Cory Booker. We had such great candidates. And those black voters in South Carolina said, because the people that really motivated us the most also motivated them the most. And in a 50-50 country, they did not want to take that risk. So they literally and purposefully picked the least inspiring, most boring candidate in the field. And it worked. It worked. They were right. And then, here's the big surprise. He was a great president. I didn't expect that. I was at a panel last year of the Progressive Caucus, and all of them were like, yeah, that was weird. Like, he was really good. So 4 years ago, he was the right candidate. But 4 years ago, people were already saying he's old, right? And now 4 years later, he's older. And he looks and sounds older. And so this debate is raging. Our problem is that really have no mechanism to do anything about it. It's up to Joe Biden. Joe Biden is saying he's staying. And so this debate where people are trying to embarrass him into quitting is actually doing Donald Trump's bidding. Every day we're focusing on Joe Biden is the day that Donald Trump gets a pass and he wins that news cycle. I did not vote for Joe Biden in 2020. I voted against Donald Trump, and I think that was sort of the sentiment. And so this notion that our candidate has to be perfect when they have a felon, it's a problem. But again, there's not much what we can do about that. But there's something we can do about winning the election, and that's why we're all here. That's why I love all of you. The media has been focused on Joe Biden, and you have these DC Democrats sort of feeding that media frenzy. But it's weird that in all of that, the Google searches for Project 2025 were higher than those for Taylor Swift and the NFL. That's because of people like you in this room keeping their eye on the ball. People are terrified, and that's 1,000 pages of Oppo gold. We can use that, and we will. The reality of the situation is that as much as people are freaking out, this is not a disaster. It's probably a blip. After the debate, Joe Biden's numbers fell about 2 points in the polling, and it's already rebounding in a lot of it. It's called reverting to the mean. And why? Why would that be? Why would you think that after that disastrous debate and the pile-on and the media attention and the frenzy, why have we not seen a bigger drop? And it's because we have narratives in this race. What was the storyline about the two candidates before the debate? Joe Biden's old, Donald Trump's a liar. He's old, liar. I mean, Republicans were all telling us he's senile. Donald Trump's a liar. And then what did everybody see at the debate? Joe Biden's old, Donald Trump's a liar. It's already baked into those numbers. But everybody's so fixated on polling, what they really fail to note is that Democrats have been overperforming in elections since the year 2020. In 2022, on this stage, well, different city, but on this Netroots Nation stage, I came up and everybody was talking about the red wave. The polling showed a red wave. We were going to lose the Senate, and we're going to get killed in the House, and we're going to lose governorships and state legislatures. What a disaster. Because the party in the White House always loses seats in the midterm election. That's the narrative, and a lot of the polling showed that. And I came on stage and I gave reasons why that wasn't going to be the case. And I talked about abortion, and I talked about democracy, and I talked about how Democrats were overperforming in special elections. And none of that has changed. In fact, abortion is even more salient today. There are more horror stories every single day. And then in 2023, we kept the governorship in Kentucky, in blood red Kentucky. We held on, we won every single abortion-related ballot initiative on the ballot. Y'all remember Wisconsin, 50-50 battleground state. We had a Supreme Court election, we won it by 11. So things have been changing. Even this year, 2024, we're still overperforming in special elections, but Donald Trump underperformed his numbers in all the early contested battleground states in the Republican primary by a margin of either 4 to 17 points. MAGA is more likely to tell a pollster that they're going to vote for Donald Trump than they are to actually turn out for Donald Trump. And we're seeing this worldwide. I mean, I know y'all paying attention, right? The right wing was supposed to win big in India, in Poland, and just now in France. But when the polls were counted, when the ballots were counted, when the votes were counted, everybody's like, whoa, what a surprise. And it was a surprise. The data, the traditional metrics, the way to measure campaigns no longer apply. We're in uncharted territory. So this is where we come in. We are doing the work that it takes to win. You're learning the skills, you're honing those skills, you're learning new tactics, you're networking, you're getting ready for these last 4 months. And in 2022, I was so confident of victory, not just because of numbers and the data and the issues. I was confident because I looked at everybody in this room and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. They don't have this. They have Steve Bannon. No, we got better. And this is what's going to make the difference. So my overriding message really is, please, 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 don't fucking panic. We are in a contested 50-50 race. It's tough. But this notion that we can't win with this candidate or that candidate is absolute nonsense. If we do what we need to do, we are going to win this race. So, do not panic. Take a deep breath sometimes. It actually helps, I promise. And if we do what we need to do, we're going to win this thing. So thank you so much. Love y'all.